It is Photography Banzai here today with a unusual cheap used lens, Canon EOS M50. This is a Promaster EF 28 to 80mm f3.5 to 5.6, basically a kit lens from the film era with the Viltrox 0.7x speed booster. See how this combination works. So far there is autofocus, there is aperture adjustment. Through the speed booster it changes the number. Yeah, it appears to work. Just get a hint of sun, and I'm gonna go small aperture here. Let's do f5.6. One thing you might find amusing is the autofocus sound on this lens. Quite quaint of a sound. When you get the speed booster adjustment, you're gonna have f2.5 to f4. It does change and update the EXIF. In my first few minutes, I'm actually relatively impressed. Of course, we'll have to look at the photos, huh? There's definitely a lot of flare. The aperture moving is making quite the clunky click noise. A few benefits of this lens: it's low cost. I paid under $20 for it. It's plasticky, lightweight. Don't really need to care about it too much. I do have a filter, but I just wanted to see without a filter how it would work out. In this case, it's a 58mm. Actually, the zoom ring is pretty smooth on the lens. Autofocus, well, boofy sounding. It appears to be working. One thing I did notice is that the front whole area moves when you focus, and it looks like a custom hood type, although you do have a filter thread, of course, so you can make something work. A little effort. Features of the lens: you do have autofocus manual focus switch, so that's about the extent of the features. On the lens itself, 35mm is where the resting spot is. So far in the viewfinder, it looks really good. I do need to be careful of my position. I can see the large colorful halos that happen depending on how that light hits the front of the lens. Oh, that looks nice. Very nice. So with the strong backlight, it is a little challenged. Let's try this. Not sure how close I can get. I think I'm way too close. What is the minimum focus on this here? 2.29 foot. What is the meters? 0.7 meters. This is an extreme lighting situation. It'll happen with all of them, but official Canon one is the best at dealing with it. You'll see the glow, the reflections or whatever, and because of how the internal structure of the adapter is. It does say made in Japan. I guess the build quality isn't too bad. I'm definitely using the battery pretty quick, but I have an aftermarket Wasabi. It sounds like an old rough boy, but it's doing the job. Before actually seeing the photos, my verdict so far is this lens is pretty pleasant to use, especially considering it was under $20. Adapting it to EFM seems to be fine so far. Of course, I did try the Tamron 18-200 that appeared to work, but then it started having issues. But at least at the moment, it's been working without issue. So far, so good. That was a fun yet pretty quick photo outing with this Promaster 28 to 80mm f3.5 to 5.6 with the Canon EOS M50 and Viltrox EF EOS M2 speed booster 0.71x. Quite the mouthful. Anyways, hope you enjoyed the video. I'm Photography Banzai. Thanks.